Hello and welcome to the Deep Talk podcast, a podcast and community dedicated to learning, growing, and connecting more deeply with ourselves and one another. I'm Madison Brandt, your host. Let's get started with this week's Deep Talk. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Talk podcast. Today, Fiona joins me, and you may have seen her on social media, on TikTok especially, where she shares about her life and her learnings and her wisdom. And today is nothing short of that. We join and talk all about one of the topics that she shares a lot about is everything that she has learned in her 20s. And so, if you are in your 20s or your 30s, now that she has just turned 30, she has insight on your 20s and also the vision of the 30s. I think that there's so much pressure in this life stage, especially in your 20s, to get it all figured out. And so for her to be able to sit with me and share everything she's like learned and all the twists and turns that her life took, what she thought she learned that didn't, what she didn't think she learned that she did, and just the lessons in dating, in singleness, in friendship, in moving, in jobs. Like, I just think it's so nice to listen to this type of episode. And she's so much fun and it's such a good episode. But just around, like, how do I navigate these very transformative and transitional and, shaky years in a way that is true to me? And so, for anyone, again, who is in their 20s or 30s and want some more advice, support, and conversation around like how do you navigate these years in all areas, I think she has incredible advice, and I just hope you love this episode. So let's dive in. Hey everyone, I'm here with Fiona. How has your day been so far? What's going on? Welcome.
It's been good, a little chaotic, but it's Monday.
Yeah, electricity went out. We're doing
Yes.
okay. What is your usual like morning routine? Like, what have you done so far? Have you worked, or what have you been up to?
Yeah, usually it's my remote day, so I would work from home, but I
Nice.
went into the office today because I'm flying out this Friday. Morning routine, I don't have one. I like wake
I
up
don't either.
super last minute and then I'm rushing out the door.
Dude, my friend was telling me the other day, she was like, sent me like a long voice recording, and she was like, I am doing this really cool thing where I heard it on a podcast. She was like, I get up, I take a cold shower, I meditate, I journal, I'm drinking tea. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I feel like that's just more crap in my calendar. And I already have so much that I think that like, I literally roll out of bed and I don't have that whole like Mel Robbins, like 3, 2, 1, go energy in me. Like, I'm just like in bed
No,
until the
I've
last
tried
minute.
to do that in the morning and it lasts for like 4 days and then it's back to like doing absolutely nothing.
No, I can't, and I think it's an ADHD thing. Like, I feel like when
Yeah.
I have a set morning thing, I just like chuck it to the side. I'm like, I'm doing whatever I want, which is sleeping
Yeah.
in. It's so bad.
I work the best at night. It's the opposite. It's truly awful.
Same. I've been really trying to give myself more boundaries of like going to bed earlier, but I always push them, and then I'm just up like I'm my most creative. I'm like creating stuff, and then I'm going to bed late, and then I'm getting up late, and it's like a terrible cycle that I've never
No,
gotten rid of
same.
since
I'm just like
college.
waiting for the corporate world to be like, it's okay if you decide you want to work from like 7 till 2 in the morning and like sleep in and do nothing.
My biggest dream is to have like maybe like 2 meetings a week or like things that are like everyone has to go to so you can like touch base or something, but then everything else is just like on your own time. Like it should
Yeah.
be. It's no one lives like that anymore. It's just not intuitive. It's really hard. I can't
I'm just
do it.
waiting for all the like Gen Z and Gen Alpha to break us free.
They're gonna literally like I feel like there's gonna be campaigns. I feel like there's gonna be marches. I'm like, and I'll be first in line. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm yeah. I'm so over it. And obviously, like you're probably because you're online, you're somewhat entrepreneurial. Like I feel
Yeah.
like you are probably not. Yeah. Wait, what do you do again?
So I'm actually a nurse coordinator with cancer patients, my day
Oh my
job.
gosh.
And
Cool.
then I do content creation on the side. I used to work in
Yeah.
sales, so I went back to nursing, a lot of flip flop. And I also do freelancing on the side. So I've been working with a startup company to build out their brand voice and social
Oh
media
my gosh.
presence. So between having to move and sell all my stuff, like I can't take it.
You've been doing a lot of different stuff. Like I honestly feel like my mind was in that many different places, and then I was also moving. And like my electricity going out would be my last straw, and I would dive into a mental illness. I think. I honestly think
Yeah.
I would.
I think I am going to be soon. But I also like it's my fault because I'm like 2 months away from my whatever deadline I put for myself. but I had this entire summer and I was like, yeah, I have time. I have time. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Do
No,
you push things
January's
to the
here.
end?
Yeah. January's here, so we must get it done. So I always thought I could be the aesthetic DIY record. No, because when I'm logged in, like we're getting this wall painted. Because every time I've tried to record myself, like I can't get things done, and it makes me mad to move a tripod. I was like, no, we're just painting. I'm done. I literally
Maybe
bought
like
like
10
an
seconds.
overall to look cute, and I was like, This is stupid. I'm just painting and not
I just
recording
wanna look
myself."
ugly yeah, no, maybe do it for, like, 10 seconds, and then you're like, "No, we're done. Now we're done."
There's
I'm
paint
like, "Well,
everywhere. It's
yeah."
like on my phone. I'm not doing this ever again. I'm never gonna be a DIY content creator. I refuse.
Sounds so bad. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, so you are moving to California soon. What has been going on, like, in the last like, you've been moving a lot, like, what is all that's transpired? I'm, like, actually so curious because that's, like it's a lot.
You've moved to New York, right?
Yeah, I used to live there, yep.
Anywhere else? Was that for like school?
Yeah, no, I haven't, but I
Okay.
should.
I might. So I feel like I might be. I know one other person. She's my close friend actually, who's moved far more than me into like different continents. So I was like, just kidding, you beat me on this. But so I think what sparked the move was when I graduated from nursing school. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but when you're like growing up in the South,
Mhm.
um, the traditional jobs are kind of like nursing, teacher, doctor, lawyer, and that's all I knew at the time. So it was just normal. I didn't even know what I wanted to do actually. So
Mhm.
then I ended up becoming a nurse. I knew it wasn't really my thing when I started school, but I felt like I had to finish. Like I was already so deep in, and it was like very hard to get into this program. So I was like, I guess I have to finish. Like maybe things will be different once I'm done.
Yeah.
I ended up becoming an OR nurse, which is like something I always wanted to do. Like I refused to work on any other unit, which I really liked at the beginning, but for pay wise in the South, it was just really bad. And there
Yeah.
was like so much that I wanted to do, and also I wasn't even aware until I had traveled to California for the first time. I went to San Francisco
Mm.
to meet a boy out there. And at the end of the day, I'm always like so thankful for that experience. Like, even though I was like boy crazy, it like opened my perspective because I feel like if I had not met that person and he had not invited me to go to California, this whole entire narrative would have been completely different.
Mhm.
So originally I was like in nursing, I was taking prerequisites to go to dental school. And
Wow.
then I met him, and then I was like, what am I doing? Like, why would I want to spend the next maybe 4 to 5 years in another program, accrue all this debt, and still can't afford to like see or travel the world? And so as soon as I got back, so that was in July that I met him out there, and then I became a travel nurse in September. And I went to California after that. So it was a pretty fast turnaround when I
Mhm.
decided like I'm gonna do something, like we're doing
Yes.
it.
Oh my
So,
god.
and at the time I had only been a nurse for like a year and a half. So it was like super rare that they're like the only way you can be a travel nurse with how little experience you have is that you're gonna have to take this assignment in a very rural town in California. Like either way, I wanted to be in California, ideally LA, because that's kind of like I watched like Zoe 101 growing up, and I was like, I just want to be over there. Just
Yes.
so I ended up in Central California, and good thing I didn't really know much of the area. I'm very like impulsive, I think, of my ADHD. I'm also safe, but not safe at the same time because I feel like if I had known more about the place that I was living, I think I would have freaked out. But I didn't find out till years later. And I was like, oh, good thing I didn't know at the time. But even kind of like, have you heard those stories about the truck drivers abducting people? And there's like a wanted serial killer. There's like 500 of them. I was like, thank goodness I didn't know because I've been driving across country this entire time thinking like, oh my God, more people like in the truck stop. I'm safe. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Ignorance is bliss, I guess. Yeah, like, that's crazy.
So, so yeah, what's it called? Ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
But
That's crazy.
no, so that's when I ended up being a travel nurse out in Central California. And then I eventually was able to transfer down to LA. And so
Okay.
that's kind of like what kickstarted the move.
So are you traveling Like, what does that look like now?
now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So back then, like the travel was normal because I was travel
Yeah.
nursing, but I wasn't one that like bopped around to different states. I was
Okay.
just like, no, we're gonna just stay in California. I just couldn't move. Like some people will do every 3 months. I
Oh,
can't do that. I just stayed in the same place for a year and then went to the next. So then my second year, I ended up in San Francisco, and at that point, I didn't have a nursing contract because it was COVID and I was an OR
yeah.
nurse. So, like, they didn't need me anymore. I know there was a nursing shortage, but they didn't need my type of nursing. So, like, I essentially was unemployed. I was like, all right, don't
Oh.
know what to do. But I also didn't want to go back to South Carolina
Mhm.
because I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
So that's when I ended up actually switching my careers and I ended up working in software sales. Like I got a job in sales and that was my job for the next like 4.5 years. And I was remote the entire time.
Wow.
So it kind of gave me the flexibility to move around. I didn't plan to move around this much, to be quite honest. Um, do we go on to like where I moved after? It's all over the
Oh my
place.
gosh. Well, so your last move was you went home. Like, you went to Charleston, and
Yeah.
that's because you wanted to go home, right? Like, you felt a connection to move home?
So, oh my gosh, there's like a story to everything. I think you have to start at the beginning. So then COVID happened, then everything was shut down, and I was like, what am I paying all this money to
Yeah.
do in California? Can't do anything anyways. So then I ended up moving back to
Mhm.
Charleston. I bought a place here, had the intentions of staying here because we didn't know if COVID was ever going to end. So I
Yeah.
was like, okay, whatever. I can work remote. Then I met my ex at the time, but he lived in California. So then I moved back to California to LA. Then we broke up and I was like, I'm sick of the traffic. Like I just want to go hike and be outdoors.
Uh-huh.
And then I moved to Denver. Did that for a little bit, and I was like, "I've done so much of the outdoors, like, I've been so wholesome." Like, I feel like I didn't even live my mid-20s because I was trying to be a wife. It was COVID, and I was like, "What am I doing? Like, why am I trying to, like, dim my light to get some dude to marry me?" Like, whatever, like, not doing
Yeah.
that. So then I end up going to Miami, which then it's like I used to think that's LA was superficial. I was like, "No, Miami takes number 1
Yes, I
for
heard
this."
that.
And like no one has a real job and I was like, what am I doing here? Because, I've never like stayed out past like I usually am and like I'll fall asleep at like 2. In Miami, I wasn't going to sleep and it was odd. Like I like it would be 7 in the morning the next day and I'm like, this is so fun. I'm like, but also this is very like I'm about to be 30. What am I doing? And so in my mind, after like getting laid off, I was like, oh, I don't want to keep paying for rent because I was
Yeah,
living by myself.
it's so expensive.
And I also wasn't really motivated to find a job. Like I just like wanted to take a break. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just move back into my condo. Maybe this is what I wanted. Like, I don't know, let's just do a chill life. And then and then I came back and realized that I had outgrown my environment by a lot. And because I was surrounded by so many diverse people of every culture and background, it's hard to come back to seeing everyone that looks exactly the same and
Yeah.
like no diversity. So that's like probably the number one reason why I want to move.
Yeah, yeah. And what so LA because why?
LA because you can go to the beach, you can go to the mountain, you can snowboard, and out of the 3 states on the coast, people wise, I think I would prefer LA.
Yeah.
Even though like yes, I've had like not so great experiences, but back then I like didn't know who I was. I didn't have any hobbies. Like all I did was drink. So like now that I have hobbies, I can take advantage of all the things I didn't when I lived in
Yeah.
California before.
Yeah. Yeah. Do are the what are the people in California like? Are they, like, nice?
Mm, I feel like there's like a range. Like there's obviously people that are trying to get famous.
Mhm.
Like I remember those were the people that annoyed me when I moved there. I used to like love taking photos like for memories, but then at some point people would spend hours just like posting stories and then just watching their stories at the said event. And I started getting ick from it, which is kind of sad because there's like a period in my life where like I barely have photos because I was just like getting annoyed with
Mhm.
everyone being on their phones
Yeah,
for like the clout, or like later on you'll meet people and then they're like, "Oh, like I thought you knew so and so." So we have like the clout chasers, I guess. But then I noticed if you're like from California, they're generally normal because like they've been
yeah,
surrounded by it. I feel like it's more so people who have just gotten there and like are trying to use you. But I think there is like a good mix of very normal people. Obviously, you're gonna
yeah.
have the people that are trying too hard on the opposite side. And it can be frustrating when you first move there and get surrounded by those types of people, because then you'll wonder like, oh my gosh, like am I even making any real genuine friendships?
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, I feel like I'd have a hard time, but, like, I think that now that you know yourself and, like, have learned so much about yourself and moved so much that, like, I think that you would go there and it'd be easier to find your people because I feel like you seem to
Yeah.
know who you are
I
more.
agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus before, I was just like, "I don't know, like, I wanna do that," and then
Yeah.
yeah, or it's like, I remember going to a party one time, and they're like, "You're not a YouTuber," and then they, like, went away when they went along with their day, and I was like,
You're
"Cool."
like, "Okay."
It's like
You're like,
that.
"That's rude." That's actually crazy. I wouldn't even I'd be like, "No, no."
Does that not happen in New York? I feel like it does.
I feel like people in New York are a lot more to themselves, and I feel like it's, like, a different kind of hustle. I feel like I don't know. I feel like people there are very transient, but I didn't feel as much it doesn't feel as much like people trying to use each other the way that you're explaining in LA. I think everyone's there kind of feels more of like an individualistic hustle thing happening.
Yeah.
But
I mean, granted, I haven't been back in a while, so that was, like, years ago. Could change. It could have been different now.
yeah, do you feel like so through this whole journey, like what was it like being in your like early to like mid 20s? Like what were you doing and like how were you feeling about life and yourself? And like when you look back at that time, like what was it like? Like cuz I feel like as you get older, you just like have such a different perspective of that experience. Um
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm just curious about that.
I feel like in my early 20s to mid 20s, let me think. I think I was like, I mean, I really didn't know myself. Like, I was really depressed. The only people I was talking to about it was my friends, and I hadn't gone to therapy until probably I was like 24, because it's gotten that
Yeah.
bad because I was just having so many like internal wars with
Mhm.
myself. Like really like I had a lot of resentment towards my
Yeah.
mom, and then I would tie my job into it because she was like, "Oh, why don't you do this?" So I just felt like everything in my life was like not going accordingly to
Yeah.
plan, because at the time I was blaming a lot of my mom on that. Um but then I also like, a part of me was maybe a little too afraid to commit to living in California, because I was like in my like I would make excuses like, "Oh my god, the taxes are so high." But like, "Oh, the cost of living is so high." But as I've got older, I'm just like, I would rather pay more to live somewhere that makes me happy, because like I've done clearly like moving back to pay less and realizing that like
Yeah.
no, sometimes it will cost you more for your
Yes.
happiness, and you'll figure out a way. There's a reason why a lot of people live in specific places, and some people are fine with like a simple life, and I envy those people. I wish I could just like
Exactly.
not dream big. I think dreaming big is the problem. Like and also at the time I also had this like timeline. I think most girls
Mhm.
do, like, I want to be engaged by 28 and married by 30 and like have a kid. And it was all going accordingly to plan. Like everything I've ever done, like if I said I was going to do something, I did it. Like I was like, I'm going to graduate early. I'm going to do this. I'm going to move here. Like it all just went really well. And then it wasn't until I met my ex at the time, and I would say that would be like my most serious relationship I've ever had, because we lived together. And if I wanted it to work, like we definitely would have been married. But I was like sitting in this perfect house in California with like my perfectly decorated home that I could do whatever. And like we were always going on vacation, but it was like the wrong person. And it took a lot of me to like walk away from that relationship, because that was like me walking away from like my goals, because I could have had it if I had stayed, but I just like in my gut didn't feel like it was right.
Was there a specific thing or was it like an accumulation or was it just like a feeling where you were like this wasn't right for me?
Well, that was like a COVID relationship. That was really rushed because I think for a long time, like all the relationships I had before, like I would wait months and months and be like, what are we? So this was like the first time somebody was like, oh my God, I pick you. And like, oh, I'm getting this house for us. And like, it was just moving so fast, which gave me anxiety, but at the same time, I'm like, "Oh, is this, like, what it's like to be chosen, like, finally?" So, like, I think that was contributing to it, but we definitely rushed into like, we moved in together after, like, 3 months of knowing one another. So, I feel like you don't know someone until you've moved in with
Yeah.
them, and I quickly realized that we were just not compatible in the sense that, like, I think whoever I end up with needs to be self-sufficient. Like, I'm not trying to be anyone's
No,
mom.
no, never. Yes, I know.
And that's what I realized. I was like, there was a lot of obviously other issues, but I don't really
Yeah,
like
of
want to
course, of course, of
damper and
course.
talk about that. But that's what was the first time I realized that. And I think the moving pivotal point was I had got out of my depression. Like I had worked through like I had like really like suicidal
Oh,
depression back in like my early mid
oh.
20s, and then I had solved it. And so when that relationship was making me feel that way again, I was like, it's time to go. Like I have like worked way too hard to make myself happy. I'm not about to let somebody else bring me back to that mental state. And so I think that's when I like finally was like, you need to snap out of it.
The relationship was making you depressed?
Yeah.
That's, like, actually the worst. It's so crazy how much somebody can affect our mental health. I mean, it's like yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense, but it's also crazy.
And people are always like, I see people make comments being like, oh my gosh, like, I just want to be in a relationship so I don't feel alone. And I'm like, you can be in a relationship and feel alone.
Did you feel that way?
So at some point, yeah, just because there was like an age gap and everyone in his friend group was like settling down, having kids, and I wasn't there yet. But, like I was still in my mid 20s. I almost felt like they treated me as if I was like super young. They were like in their mid 30s. And so, and plus LA is very
Yeah,
big. So my friends to get to them was like an hour and a half and like a lot of traffic. So I kind of felt like on my own little
yeah,
island. Even though I was in LA, I wasn't like by
yeah,
them though.
yeah, that's hard, yeah. Did you like, when you left that, what was it like? Would you elaborate a little bit more on just, like, feeling like you gave up the life you wanted? Like, that's so hard to walk away because I feel like I've had
Yeah.
that in different parts of my life where I'm like, I get the thing, and then it's like, I could just have this, so it looks on the outside like I have it together and I have the thing I want, and it's pretty brave to walk away from that, and I don't think a lot of people do, um, and so that takes a lot. So I'm curious more about that experience of giving up what you thought you wanted because you knew you wanted more.
Yeah, I think I've done that quite a lot with my
Mhm.
life because I know a lot of people will stay at the same job
Yes.
for, 8, 10 years. And there are some times I'll regret that time. I'm like, maybe I should have stayed. But again, I think everything happens for a reason. Um, why walking away from that? I think it's because you're grieving so much of who you thought you were. Like, sometimes people are like, they think they're sad about the relationship, but they miss that person. And granted, I will say, like, it took me a good, like, 7 months to finally feel like okay after. And then, like, a whole year. Like, I didn't do, a lot of people will rush into a relationship
Mhm.
trying to, like, get over somebody and I truly do not recommend that. Like people need to deal with it
Yeah.
on their own. And so I spent that whole year just doing me. And that's when I went on my first solo trip, kind of been like, I need to find who I am without this person. Like I felt like I lost who I was because I was just so obsessed with the idea of like finishing off my milestone
Mhm.
goals because I was that person that like did things super young. So if I could cross it off, like, oh, I bought my home at this age. I like graduated early. I got my like that like brought me a lot of joy. And now I feel like I'm on the opposite spectrum now of like not being the first at everything, which is fine. Like I don't care anymore. But at the time, that was my mindset. Like I wanted to finish first. But as you get older, it's like, why would you want to finish first? It's like nothing's at the finish line when you do.
Ooh. What do you mean by
Yeah.
that?
Well, like the finish line is like you die. So whoever gets there first, like it really isn't. no one wins truly. Like you trade in something, like you could be the youngest millionaire self-made, but you traded in like all your time and memories with somebody else. There's always like a trade-off for being first. And I think the obsession of like being the youngest at something is like very much praised when it shouldn't be, because like you lose so much of your freedom and flexibility to like live your life.
Yeah. How do you feel about like the timeline and that pressure now?
Now that I am indifferent about children, and also the new study where like women can have kids forever, like
Yeah.
until like their 40s, like I don't care at all. Like I think I was dating out of desperation. Now that I'm not, and people are always like, my friends are like, "You haven't been dating for like a year." I was like, "I don't care." She's like, every time they ask me, I'm like, "I'm not dating anyone."
No, I same. People are like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Nope."
Like every time I do, it like mentally makes me unwell, so I'd rather not.
Yeah, and that's valid. But I think that it's just like there's such a and it's so frustrating. Maybe it's like the patriarchal deal of it all, but there's just such a push for women to like get it figured out early and you're only desirable if you find it early or if you're a certain age and all these things. And it's hard too when you see a lot of people around you subscribing to that or meeting those timelines and thinking you would, but then you're not. Um, yeah, it's really hard and there's a lot of pressure in your mid 20s and early
But
20s
I
and
also think that, like, you'll see so many terrible marriages that I'm like, "Thank goodness I'm not in one of those." Like,
yeah.
so at this point, like, I think a lot of the young I wonder, I don't know if you've talked to a lot of the younger generation, but I
Yeah.
hope that maybe their narrative has changed around it, because mine has, but I don't know if the younger generation still feels like they need
I
to
think it's
do all
still
this stuff.
there. I think it's, like, less maybe a little bit, but I feel like it's so woven into society
Like,
still.
I truly don't think anyone should be married before 30.
Really?
'Cause I mean, I would say, like, this year, like, because I've, like, in my quiet year, and this is, like, the first year where I've been pretty, like, I'm a very social person, but this year I've done the least socialization I've done ever in my life, because I genuinely like hanging out with myself, and, like, I don't have this FOMO, because every time I swear I have FOMO, I go to the thing and I'm like, "Oh, why am I here?" Like, I'm wasting my time. Like, it's never as fun as you think it is. It's
Mhm.
like, it looks really fun on video, and then you get here and you're like, "Why?" So, I think, like, I just turned 30, so, like, I would say, like, 29, like, I learned so much. I'm, like, a different person from the year before and the year before that. Like, this is, like, my peak of knowing myself.
My gosh, what do you feel like are there any certain things you notice? Is it just, like, an energy or, like or what do you notice is different?
I would say, like, I'm not a control freak of, like, how things will turn out. I think, like, for most people, they had their 20s planned out, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have any like, in my 30s, I thought, "Oh my god, like, I'm gonna have a kid and a family." Well, since that's, like, been erased, I don't really know what the 30s are, to be honest, like, I don't really care. And I don't think I have a plan I don't have a plan. I think that's the best way to live your life, is just to do the things that you love. You never know,
Mhm.
like, people take for granted breathing and walking, those
Yeah.
everyday things that can be taken away from you, and people will always put things off till next year, or I'll change my job next. Like, you shouldn't live like that, but also, like, don't go into debt, but like, be smart about the way that you do things.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like since you started over so many times in your 20s, maybe you're in a different state now of feeling like, I don't know, you probably learned a lot from that.
Yeah. I used to feel like the black sheep, like I had a problem,
Same.
and now like everyone's like praising me on it, or now I'm seeing a lot more people also maybe saying some regrets on the internet, and now I'm not
Yeah.
feeling so alone that I did so many things, because it's not like, it's not encouraged. Like, I feel like people frown upon it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think they do too. But I think that like I actually don't know where it comes from because I always feel like I envy too the people who don't have big dreams. And I'm not even saying that in a like narcissistic way or something or people like
Mhm.
I just feel like I've always envy people who have had a more straight path and have had those milestones hit and haven't, I've started over literally. I've had like 5 jobs. I have like big dreams. I'm like exhausted. I'm like, but it's also like who I am. I can't really it's just
Mhm.
kind of in me, but I do envy people sometimes who don't who haven't had that path and don't want that.
I feel like they do, but they make excuses. I actually just ran into someone I hadn't seen since I was in high school. Like, honestly, I think it was the first time we exchanged conversation. Like, I was like, I know of you. I don't think we spoke once in high school, but
Yeah.
nice to see you. And he was just telling me he like grew up here. He's been at the same job for the last 8 years. He got married, like very just like to the books. And him and his wife don't have a kid, like, they don't plan to have a kid, and I was like, "W okay, why don't you just move then? Like, if that's what you wanna do." And then the list of, like, excuses of, "But my family's here, and, like, I don't know, my job," like, he could do his job anywhere, to be honest, like, he can get a new job. Um, and it's like, people say that, but I think they're scared to. I think for
Mhm.
you and I, we actually commit to doing the thing. But the people that stay in that same career really stems from, I believe, like the boomer generation of like, it looks good to be in one place for 20 years. And I used to like beat myself up for not being able to do that because having to explain my changes constantly and having to advocate for myself, it's like not fun because like you end up like hurting your like potential because people just think you're non-committal, but it's like you should be impressed by how many times I've been able to adapt
And reinvent
to whatever.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just talked to my grandma yesterday and I was like, "I think I might move to LA." And she was like, "Oh, you're such a Minnesota girl though. Like, don't do that." I'm like, "That's just such an older generation thing." And I was like, "I'll do what I want, grandma." But yeah, it is such a thing. Yeah. Um, is there anything now that you feel like you didn't know in your 20s that you'd want to tell somebody in their 20s? Like anything you were stressed about or you learned that you wish you knew that you're like now you're like, "Okay, I wish they knew. I
I
wish the
feel like
people listening know."
there's I feel like there's so many lessons. I would say like not I guess for are we talking to like the female
I think
audience
I
or are we
think yeah, my yes, more women and also general, but just like things you learned about yourself, that you'd wanna share that you wish you knew.
Um, there's so many things. I'm like, where do we start?
We could talk
I
to you.
think not, I would say like not centering relationships, like
Yeah,
thinking that you need somebody else to validate you for love,
yeah.
like thinking that you're useless or worthless without somebody loving you.
Mhm.
Like you really like I know the saying is so cheesy, like you need to love yourself first. And I would hate people saying that. Like I'm like, I don't get it. Like that's dumb. But you really do. And a lot of people think that they have figured that out, but they haven't. Because the amount of people I know that have never solo traveled because they don't know how to fill in that space. Like I
Yeah,
didn't realize there's only like there's not a lot. Like every time I ask like people in my friend group, there's maybe one, if none. So people don't actually like sitting in their silence, and I
yeah,
think the advice would be like really get comfortable with sitting in your silence and never trade your flexibility for stability.
yeah,
Like I know people chase stability, but I think stability keeps you in prison. Like you like rent for as long as you can and figure out what you want to do and like change the job and just figure it out instead of just staying the same.
yeah, yeah. I love that. Is there anything, like, in dating and relationships you'd want people to know? Like, anything, like, besides just, like, not necessarily centering it, is there anything about love that you learned through your long relationship, through being in your 20s and dating? Yeah.
Uh, again,
Something.
I think every cliche saying is a saying
A
for a
reason,
reason.
yeah.
Like at the time, you just like write it off like that's so stupid. But when people show you who they are the first time, like believe them because they never change. You can never convince anyone to like you. Like I have people lingering around from when I was 23 that they're still here. And like I'm also at that big age where I'm like, what's the point of this? Like, what are you doing? Like, we've already been through this. It's not going anywhere. And also, I'm also at the point where like I'm no longer obsessed or in love with the idea of you. So you couldn't convince me either way for this to ever work out if you all of a sudden decided like you wanted something from this. But they won't like and I think for most girls too, like you know whether or not that's husband material. Like likewise with guys, like the first moment that you meet them. And if it's not reciprocated right away, then like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, what about the people that are like, "I'm wait he's gonna change his mind, like, I'll just wait," you know?
No, they never do, and then they age so poorly. Like, I'm looking at every person I've ever dated, and I'm like, I bet you guys are like, if you guys are creeping on me, like, I'm like, bro, your peak days are over. Like,
They're over. No, that's actually so funny. But
yeah.
anyway, I can't tell you how many people I would like meet and I'd like kind of know it was wrong, but I would try to force it to work, or I would like wait for them to like
I
be
would
available and
scheme.
try to choose me. And I'd be like, well, maybe if
Would
I'm
you scheme it?
what?
Have you ever schemed? Like, I literally became friends with the entire boy group. Like, I hung out with the boy group separately from him just so I could, like, fully be
Yeah.
in. Like, oh, the boys are vouching for me. Like, that's how far I would get into
No,
this. And
same.
I'm like, why did I do
No, and
that?
I would literally like I would wait for a really long time to try to get them to like me because I'm like, oh, maybe they'll notice because I'm like around more, or I'd be like, no, I'm cool with being friends, and
Yeah.
I'd be like chilling as their friend, hoping that one day they'd wake up and like me, but then they would end up dating other girls and talk to me about it, and I'd cry about it, and I'd be like, but maybe they'll still choose me, and I'm like, I put myself through so much unnecessary hell in dating by hoping someone would be who they weren't, which is crazy. It's
Yeah.
like buying a car and being like, well, maybe
Well,
they'll
I
like.
think it's because 'cause we're, like, in love with the potential, even though that's not even them.
Mm,
Like, in this very moment, it's not even them. Like, I literally, like, used to learn chess just because I knew I'm like, "Oh, we can play chess." So stupid. Like, the amount of things I did to just I would never. So now, like, it's funny. This sounds really sad, but there was this guy that it was like when I lived in Miami, he's like vomiting. I got came over, then he's like vomiting, and I was like, "Are you good?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." Old me would have been like, "Oh my god, do you need a water? Do you need a towel? Do you need to rub your?" I didn't do any of that, and he was so offended. I was like, "I'm not your girlfriend or your wife. Like, I'm
I
not
don't know why I
helping
was
you."
doing that. I remember one of my exes, he would come to my apartment and I would have like so disgusting. I would have every single one of his favorite snacks in my pantry. And when one ran out, I would get it again at the grocery store. And he would make comments when it wasn't there. And he was like such a little baby when he was over. He was like, you don't have band-aids, you don't have this for me, you don't have this for me. And I would like I would really work hard to convince them. But I just recently had this experience with this guy that was like, I'm moving. You want to help me move? And I was
No.
like, no. Because he's like moving into town. He's like, you want to help me move? Like, we can hang out and like, you can help me move. And I go, do you have other people for that? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, good. We can hang out after or a different time. I, the fuck,
See, that's
the fuck am I
growth.
doing with
Like,
that? No, I'm not
yeah,
gonna help you move.
I used to bend over backward for these
These
idiots
idiots. And I'm like,
for what?
I'd probably help him move. And then after he'd be like, well, I'm going to go see another girl now. And I'd be like, awesome. I just
Yeah,
wasted 48 hours of my life. No,
yeah.
no.
'Cause, literally, I'd be like, "Oh my god, can you help me put my furniture together?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Alright." And I think I just at some point, I just was like, "I'm not this is, like, free labor, I'm not
It's
doing it anymore.
free
I'm
labor.
not cook." They're like, "Oh, like, are you gonna cook me a dinner?" I'm like,
No.
"No." "Are you gonna cook me a
Yeah,
dinner?"
right? Or,
Like,
like, you know what you could do? You could go pick up the ingredients, and we have a night where we cook together, and you do most of it. But
and you pick up the
yeah,
ingredients at the grocery
yeah, and
store. I'm not
I'll
doing
show up and
it.
have a drink. But yeah, I don't know what I was doing, but that is, like, one of the biggest things that you were actually so right. It's like you almost become less obsessed with that idea of being chosen because you realize that's not how you get chosen. That's how somebody actually just, like, walks over.
And the way that you were thoughtful about all of his snacks, like, I feel like when you meet the right person, they will be equally excited to do the same
Yes.
thing for you, but if you're not seeing that on his end, he doesn't care about you at
No,
all.
literally not at all. And, like, he would sleep over and be like or, like, we'd be about to fall asleep and be like, "I kinda just wanna be at my own place tonight. I've got stuff in the morning. I'm
I
tired."
so the way that they never cancel their workouts, I would cancel I
Oh!
would, like, stop going to workout
Yes!
classes. I'd be like, "No, I wanna hang out just in case he
Yes!
asks me this
No,
today."
I literally and then I remember him being like, "Oh, like, one weekend we had, like, plans on Friday, reservations that I made because I was like, 'You need to go on more dates with me. You don't hang out with me. This is my own boyfriend.'" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, something came up with the boys after golf, like, we're gonna wanna hang out. I haven't seen them in a while." I'm like, "You're seeing them the day before. We haven't had a date in weeks." And, like, he was like, "Well, you can come hang out with us after." And I was like, "That is so like, the things that these men, I don't know, it's so bad. Um,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. Oh, there's too many
So
experiences.
never, like, literally do
Do
nothing.
nothing.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
my mom is like, "You're not," she's like, "You're not taken until you're married." Even then it's like, "You're not off the mark." I'm like, like, do not do anything that's mom. Like, no, like, no, you're just, you should make your life, like, each other's lives valuable and like more fun. But if somebody's doing far more chores than the other, like, that's not a relationship. Like, you are
You
a
were a
parent.
parent. You were a mother and you didn't ask to be. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That is such a good, like, um, such a good thought. Like,
Do guys ever do the same for girls, or is it just girls bending over
I think
backwards?
women bend over backwards so much, and I I don't know. I know that we have that, like, nurturing part within us, but it's also just, like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, like, even if whoever me and my partner are, like, would have different skills, they need to kind of balance and mix where I feel equally met, um, and also cared for. Not that I'm just doing that. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if it's out there. I think it is. I hope it is. But
I've seen it. I know it's there. I have a few friends' husbands who are like, I'm like, "Oh, I know this
yeah.
exists."
Yeah.
Very few, but they're
Totally,
there.
totally. And yeah, I just think it's just the cheesiest. I know this is filled with cheesy things, but just like if you exist, someone's gonna be like that for you. Like I also know that the world is so big. Like there has to be one person, and it is harder to find. I think when you do have higher standards and like you've had your experience, like you have learned so much, like you're not. You're on your 2 feet and you're fine. So you're not really needing someone to come in and save you anymore. So it's like you're not gonna just settle for whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, which I feel like a lot of people do settle, which is so
I know.
sad. Or they're like, "Oh, I've known this person forever," and they just get married and then realize, like, you've had those people who've been in like relationships
Yeah.
for like 10 years and they get married and they get divorced immediately, which is so sad. But it's like, I think you need to explore all your
Mhm.
options. Otherwise you don't know
Yeah.
yourself.
How are you going about, like, life and dating now when you're like and I know you're, like, just turned 30, but, like, uh,
I'm
you're
like, I
like, I
haven't
don't know.
dated at
Like,
all.
how I guess that
I literally
you're
have
like, "I'm
done
doing
zero
nothing."
dating.
But I guess, like, if are you approaching it with just different mindset? You're just kinda more confident in yourself, you're feeling less stressed, less
Yeah.
pressured?
Yeah, I have no pressure. I honestly don't care. I feel like if it does happen, like, sure, I do miss like the
Yeah.
intimate parts of a relationship, like someone caring for you and doing things with you. But then if you get into a bad situation, you're like, never mind, I'd
Yeah.
rather be alone. So I think, I know, another cheesy, like, it really does happen when you're not
Yeah.
looking for it. And so I haven't looked for it at all, but I do think it will happen when I'm like
Yeah.
traveling. Not, I don't even look for it when I'm traveling either. It's just like, I meet someone, I'm like, "Oh, maybe we'll do, like, a lot." No.
It's
Like, you get to know. Also, like, a crush is a lack of information because, like, once you get to know them,
you're
you're
like,
like,
"I
"Never
literally don't
mind."
like you."
Um, but I don't really use the apps per se. Like, I like to meet people in the
Mhm.
wild, but considering this year I haven't gone out in the wild very much, there's no like, I'm not trying to stay here, so there's literally no
Yeah.
reason for me to even try to date here. It would be a
Oh,
waste of my
100%.
time. Um, yeah, but I think just like meeting people organically, I think the apps have made things difficult because if you were to just base it off of looks, you could have potentially wrote
Yeah.
someone off because someone's personality, I mean, even a very attractive person could have the worst personality. It's like you really have to meet them in
I know. You need to
person.
see the vibes. Like, for me, it's such an energy thing, and it's like yeah, find
Yeah.
that click.
So it's, and if you're already out and you meet people and like, you probably have had those situations where like, oh, if I had saw a photo of you, probably wouldn't. But like we met like organically and you were just fun and a vibe. Now I'm
Yeah.
attracted to you. But if I had saw you on an app, I'd be
I'd be
like,
like, "You're
no.
scary." No, I know. They also are so bad at
Yeah.
setting up their profiles, like, I'm like, men, I'm like, "I don't know. They should have never been tasked with this. It's not good." So,
I need all the apps to like
I
stop.
know, I think people need to talk in real life again, and it's like, yeah, I think people are afraid to get rejected, and I feel like now as a like, I don't know why I feel like I'm doing the pursuing as a woman now more because men aren't.
Oh my gosh, I always
Yeah,
have
for my whole life.
been.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. They're like, what do you want to do? I was like, you can take me to
Yeah.
dinner.
They always ask me.
I don't know if I want to do dinner anymore. I used to, and now I'm like, I don't know if I want to sit down for an
No,
hour with you
I
and
do
take a bath.
drinks, maybe a coffee, or like sometimes I'll like when I get really bored, I'll do some like insanely like just something I want to do. I'll be like, I'm gonna go to this Christmas pop up market. You can come with me.
I actually just want to be like, hey, you want to
Yeah,
go
no,
to tennis?
I did it. I was literally at
Can
the point of doing a tennis first date. I was doing like just weird the picnics, like
you take me
yeah.
golfing? Can you
You're
take
just
me on
learning new
sailboat?
skills, honestly. You're just making yourself better.
Like, at least if you're gonna waste my time, like, at least let me learn something new today.
Or like the best is like when you're doing another activity, you're just like, meet me at this place that's right across the street for 45 minutes. It's because it's on my way home and it doesn't inconvenience me.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
the
the
only
only
way.
way.
But yeah, I think just like, I love that you have allowed yourself to take so many twists and turns and not stay in one thing. And I know that that can feel sometimes like, did I do the wrong thing with that? But I think that it gives you so much life experience. And I think the moment, especially in your 20s and 30s, when you like settle into everything in life, I feel like that's when you become stagnant and boring and uninterested in your life. And that doesn't mean that you can't have stability. I just think that we sometimes search so much for it that we pigeonhole ourselves or we settle. And I just am glad that you haven't done that. And I think it's a really good message too, to not. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm, like, always wondering online, I'm like, "Does it seem like I'm spiraling for" like I don't know how far along you saw where like, I don't know where you started, where you saw me, like,
I don't
where
even
was I
know.
at
I
that
think
point?
I feel like when TikTok is so weird because it'll show me ones of yours that are like current and then the other ones that are like from months ago that I'm like, wait, I was gonna comment on, I was like, this one's from like 3 months ago. I don't know why it's on my For You page.
Oh,
But I don't know.
was it after was it my
I
Miami
think after
stint,
that. I
or
honestly
was it
I
my
found you I think a few months
okay.
ago. So I think it's recent.
Okay, so you haven't seen any of, like whoever from if anyone's from the beginning who has seen me from, like, Denver, like, my thought process is like, I also deleted a ton of videos, like, I still, like I will say, like, now I'm, like, finally
Mhm.
embracing the online presence, like, for a long time, I was, like, very
Yeah.
quiet about it, like, if anyone comes up to me in real life, I'm so awkward, I'm like, "We don't talk about
I bet you're
that."
actually you are not awkward, like, literally at all, but I understand. It's like, I put everything out on the internet, and if someone had, like, the audacity to say something, I'd be like, "That's rude. You don't know me." As I'm, like, saying actually every single thing about my life, it's like, "Okay. Okay, Madison."
Or, like, I don't like recording in public, I'm so awkward, like, I'm like I can't I just pretend, but I'm getting better about it now because I think you get embarrassed about things because you are afraid to be fully seen, so I'm, like, really trying to, like, no, like, you need to be
Yeah,
fully seen to be
totally.
yourself, so you better be
No.
okay with it. That's probably why I'm doing this
Aw.
with you because 'cause I'm like, "Let's just let me just finally
Yeah.
just do
Yeah. No,
it."
I mean, you have like, I feel like we're so hard on ourselves, and, like, you are, like, so good at this, and, like, you're so good at posting online. Um, I don't know. As for an outsider perspective, I feel like I would never think that you don't know what you're doing at all. But it's easy to feel that way inside because I can feel like, "Oh my god, I'm failing," or
Yeah.
like, "What do people think?" and all of that, but
Yeah, the internet can be also, like, a pro tip, block anyone. Just block. I just block everyone. See a mean comment, block.
I just like
Best advice.
I had one, woman comment a few times that I needed to stop moving my face too much. She's like, "You have such extreme expressions, you're gonna get wrinkles early, and I already see them." Like, she would always comment on my stuff that, and I was like, "Cool. That's great. That's really
Also,
sweet."
my question is I only leave nice comments. Like, if
Same.
I'm thinking something unkind, why would I want that on the internet
No,
forever tied to me? And then two, why do I have the like, I don't understand people who do
I actually
leave
don't at
that.
all. It's crazy. Like,
That's so much effort.
yeah, it's so much, even the things that, like, are crazy and I definitely could leave a comment on that's rude if I wanted to and, like, people would agree, I'd be like, "No, that's just not in my character. I don't really."
Yeah, it's not nice. I
Yeah,
don't understand.
yeah, it's interesting. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'll just delete it or sometimes
And I'm also like, I don't really care about the engagement block.
when you're seeing everybody how do you deal with that? Before we close, I'm like, that's a hard thing too for, like, somebody who's, like, in a different life stage. than friends or like everyone around them, or you're seeing people get engaged, you're seeing all these things, like how do you not feel bad, or like how do you not compare?
Because I know them. Like, I think I know they're like, it's not as glamorous as you think. I think I just know the dynamic. So I'm like, I don't even, it doesn't bother me. Also, like the children thing, really, like every time I think about my normal day and I'm like, if I came home to feeding a child and they were screaming at me, I think I'm gonna lose it. Like, I already don't even like picking out what I eat every day, like, let alone this child. Like, what? So I don't envy the children. Like, sure, maybe I'll envy the children if they had a nanny and a chef and a chauffeur. Okay. But I know most of my friends don't, so don't envy that.
Yeah.
And then in relationships, again, like unless they're like even in the healthiest relationships, there's still going to be issues, and I think people forget to embrace being single because again, being single is your freedom and flexibility. So in relationships, you have another person to think about, so you have to include them in a lot of your decisions. And I don't want to do that right now, to be honest. Like, I don't want to ask, like, oh, like, do you want to do this too? Like, do we want to go on this vacation too? No, I just want to go
You're
here,
like, "Do you wanna
whether
go to
you
this
like it or
couple's
not.
date?" And you're like, "No, I wanna go hang out with my own friends." "Thank you."
Yeah. Do you want to go to this baby shower for my friend? No,
No.
I don't.
No. I actually don't
Yeah.
at all. Do you wanna go to my parents' house 3 times a week? I don't.
Yeah. So I think people forget like being single is so fun. You don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. No, that's actually so true. Do you, like how do you cope with, like, when you feel lonely or you feel like, "Ugh, like, this sucks?"
No, I think you get to this, like, truly this year when I tell you I have hung out with literally no one. Like, I hang out with the same couple people I do know here. I have finally got now I understand when they say, like, you find peace in solitude. Like, I love hanging out with myself. Like, I truly don't feel like I used to feel lonely. Like, I used to cry about feeling lonely. I now understand when someone says you can be alone, but it doesn't mean you're lonely. And so I don't really find myself being lonely anymore. I don't feel the loneliness. um, I think the only times I'll feel lonely is because I have some people I consistently speak to
Mhm.
on a weekly basis. And if I don't touch base with any of them for like a week or two because they're busy and they're like, that happens like once a year, twice a year when they're like, we're all like not available at the same time. Then whatever, like, then I have no one to vent to, and then whatever like thoughts I
Yeah.
have going on just like start to like overwhelm
Yeah.
me. But for the most part, I don't feel lonely. Like I have my dog, like it's fine. I think people are like looking like as long as you have a companion, like if you have that good girlfriend, that person you can talk to anything about, like that fills your cup.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like you don't need another partner, like you don't need a relationship to solve that. You just need a good community.
Yeah. That is actually so true. I think the hardest thing for me is, like, when the plane lands and I'm like the Olivia Dean song, like, the that quote, like, "No one to text with planes." I'm like, "I guess I'll text my mom." I think they're those moments that are like, "Ah!" But, yeah, I agree. The rest of it, I feel like community is so satiating, actually, and, like
Yeah, so you have that one girl, that girlhood. Like I have that one I talked to her, like the one who has moved far more than me. Like, I only spiraled because she was, like, in Europe for a whole month, and she was, like, no service, and I was like, "I need to FaceTime you right now." Like, it's been a whole month that I haven't talked to you, and we talk every other day. As long as you have that one person, like, you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you just need one. No, that's actually so true. That's actually such good advice and a good reminder. And a dog too. That's helpful.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, is there anything else? I know like we're a little bit over. But is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to share about your 20s, wisdom, about your 30s? Um, we may have covered everything, but if there's anything else you want to let people know.
I guess I'll end it with, I guess just go live your
Yeah.
life. Like, just who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares? I was like, should we cut out that I've been spinning this fidget spinner for, like, hours?
I haven't even like seen it for half the time. It's been like hidden. So you're good. But I will.
It's if you don't already, you should buy this. I'll send you the link. It is very soothing.
I need that. No, my ADHD is so bad. I'm like, I need to be constantly stimulated. So it's so good. But yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
so true. Live your life. And
Go on a solo trip.
yes,
Honestly, go on a solo trip. Have you been on
yes, I
one?
have. Yes.
Isn't it so it's
It's
so
it's so
life-changing.
good. And it's like so interesting. Like I had that first moment where I was like, oh God, I'm alone. And then it kinda goes
Yeah, I'm
away and you're
freaking
like,
out.
"Oh, I'm alone."
I'm planning my next one is the Southeast Asia trip, which I'm trying to do before I move to California. I'm so ill. I need to do it because I need a break and I don't want to have a job knowing that I have a job like lined up. Like I need like to know that I can extend it for as long as I
I love
want
that.
and then go back to real life.
Yeah, yeah. I guess my solo trip will I know this is not I mean, if I move there, it's like a solo trip extended.
Oh my god, Southeast Asia is so cheap, so like you won't even feel bad for
Okay, no, I
going.
need to. Yeah. I was thinking me and my friend, we're gonna go to Portugal next summer, but I'm like, maybe I go alone, but we'll see.
Oh my god, Portugal is so
I know.
safe. You should
I know.
go. I
I
love
need
that
to.
place. Yeah.
I love traveling, so yeah, that is, it's important, but yeah. What else well, like
Well,
yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you. What else is next for you coming up with, like, content and how people can follow along with you and all of those things?
Oh, my
Yeah.
content? I don't really plan
It's not
anything.
planned.
It's whatever I'm feeling in the
Okay, I
moment.
love it.
I feel bad because people ask me to do certain things and I want to, but then my ADHD, if I'm not excited in that moment, I
You can't.
just it's on my list of things to do. But I think I would like to be like I want to do more long form on YouTube. Again, it's just like myself internal self motivation to just do it. I if I will if I said it, I will be doing it. I will be documenting when I do the Southeast Asia. Like I was a little shy when I was in
Mhm.
Japan and I didn't record anything and I regret it so much because I was just so worried about what people would think of
Mhm.
me. And so I'm going to push myself to like be less frightened to record in public because at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be for
Yeah,
everyone else. It's just for my own memories and their like I guess the advice and I always have advice. Just document things because you're gonna want that's the only thing you have to look back on. And there's gonna be so many instances where yes, you could be like, oh, like this is annoying, but you're gonna wish you had that one
yeah,
moment or that one clip. And you don't have to spend the whole day ruining your vacation, but like just capture the moment so you can look back on
yeah.
it.
No, I love that. You're gonna wanna see all the things you did alone.
Yeah. So that's I guess that's what's
I love
upcoming
that.
for
Oh
my
my
trip.
gosh. Well, yeah, I just appreciate it so much. I think that this is something that I'm kind of walking in a similar path as you, not like just like in a similar stage of life and like figuring things out. And I feel like a lot of my friends who are, well, not a lot, the few that are talk about it a lot. And it's just something I think that so many people struggle with is just like figuring out your 20s and like learning how to let go of the timeline, learning how to just like let go in general of what you thought you'd be and being like I feel like you're at the confident part where you're like, well, now that I'm not what I thought I'd be, I get to be who I actually am and I get to have fun. And that's like so freeing. And so I don't know. It was such a good reminder. And I'm excited to listen to this back like a bunch for my own reminders.
Me
So
too. I'm excited for you get there too. We're gonna be so unbothered.
yeah. We're just gonna sit there and be like,
Oh
it's
no,
fine.
100%.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it so much. And yeah.